All right, today we are diving into a concept that honestly affects every single one of us. I'm talking about leaders in the boardroom. I'm talking about anyone just trying something new. And we are going to completely challenge a fundamental belief about what it even means to be bold. Here's the big idea we're going to unpack. Courage isn't some trait you're born with. It's actually a system that you build. So let's just start with a question, just to frame this whole conversation. What if you've been thinking about courage all wrong? I mean, what if everything you instinctively feel about it is actually backward? You know, all those things you think you need to have before you can act. What if they're actually the result of taking that action in the first place? Okay, so to really get our heads around this new system, we first have to completely tear down the old one, and that's what I call the myth of fearlessness. I mean, think about it. When you picture a courageous person, what pops into your head? For most of us, right? It's someone with just unshakable confidence. They seem totally fearless. Maybe they've got that magnetic charisma that just pulls people in. It's the classic hero you see in the movies, and it's what we're all taught we should be striving for. And yeah, that popular image, it feels right. But you know what? It's a trap. It sets this completely impossible standard. The really crucial point here is that when you look at the research at how people actually perform under pressure, a totally different picture starts to emerge. And this brings us right to the core idea of this explainer, the courage reframe. This is the moment where we swap out that old, broken myth for a new reality, one that's backed by research and is, frankly, way more accessible and a lot more powerful. Okay, just look at the contrast here between these two ways of thinking. The common belief, it's that courage means the absence of fear. But the research, it shows that courage only exists because of fear. It's all about what you do when fear is right there with you. We tell ourselves, I need perfect clarity before I can make a move. But the truth is, taking action is what creates the clarity. And the last one, we wait and wait to feel confident. But here's the reframe. Fear isn't a weakness. It's just data. It's a signal that's just telling you, hey, you're stepping outside your comfort zone, and we all know that's where the growth happens. So, okay, if courage isn't some personality trait you either have or you don't, then what is it? Well, it's a system. Seriously, think of it like an operating system that you install for yourself. It's a whole set of practices and mindsets that are designed specifically to manage fear, not get rid of it. That way, you can take action even when, and this is key, especially when the outcome is uncertain. And this quote, it just gets right to the heart of it. This whole thing isn't about having all the answers. You know, the most effective people, they are not the ones who feel 100% ready. No way. They're the ones who are willing to just start before they feel ready. They get that the real learning, the real progress, it all happens right in the middle of the action, not sitting on the sidelines waiting. Okay, so if this new model is so much better, why is it so incredibly hard to actually adopt it? Well, the answer really lies in this intense pressure we all face, right? Especially at work. This pressure to seem, well, perfect. I mean, just think about it for a second. There's this unspoken rule, right, that leaders are supposed to have all the answers, to project total certainty. And in an environment like that, admitting you're afraid or you're not sure, it feels like you're basically admitting you're incompetent. So what do? Especially those of us who are high performers. We just bottle it up. We internalize all that stress and we just keep it to ourselves. And that right there, that brings us to the single most destructive force for courage. It's isolation. When you keep all that uncertainty and fear to yourself, you're trying to carry this massive weight all alone. And trust me, that will absolutely crush any attempt at being bold. Courage just cannot survive in a vacuum. It's impossible. All right, so if isolation is the big enemy here, what's the solution? This is where we shift gears and get really practical. Let's talk about the specific mindsets, and more importantly, the actions you can take to actually build courage. First things first, we have to recognize the self-talk that holds us back. You know that voice? It's the voice of that old myth we talked about. It's the one that whispers, oh, I just need a little more information, or I'll do it, once I feel confident. Or that crippling fear that if I hesitate for even a second, everyone's going to think I'm weak. That, right there, is the perfectionist trap. Okay, now, let's replace that old, unhelpful script with a new one. Here's what you really need to learn. First, get this into your head. Progress beats certainty every single time. Making one small step is way more valuable than waiting for a perfect plan. Second, Just the act of saying, you know what, I'm not sure about this, out loud, it just cuts the power of that uncertainty. You're externalizing it, making it smaller, more manageable. And finally, always remember, courage scales when your support scales. It is not a solo sport. So, let's distill all of this down into a really simple playbook. Step 1, scale your support. Actively go out and build your support network. Who are those people you can actually be vulnerable with? Find them, lean on them. Step 2, speak your uncertainty out loud. Make it a habit. Turn "I don't know" from a sign of weakness into a tool for collaboration. And step 3, choose progress over certainty. You have to literally rewire your brain to value those small steps forward over the illusion of a perfect plan, every single time. All right, we've deconstructed the myth, we've outlined the playbook for how to build a real system of courage, so the only thing left to do is actually put it into practice. The question now is, what's your next move? And I just want to leave you with this one final thought. Forget about the grand, heroic gestures for a minute. Based on everything we've just talked about, what is one small, maybe even imperfect, uncertain step that you can take today? Because that, right there, that's where real courage actually begins.